In today's Elestriad Season 3 episode, SunseedJess and Trishula, both Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds competitors, battle it out in what is sure to be one of the best clashes of the season to secure a slot in top 4. Hello, my name is Kaylin. I also go by Kaycreigh, and today I am back behind the commentary desk, which is actually just my regular desk, but I'm doing commentary behind it, so it counts. Anyways, before we check in with our casters, I am here to spread the good word of Artemis because Moonrise pre-orders are now live and you do not want to miss out. There are so many stunning cards in this set, and I need for us all to just take a moment and stare at this full art Volclipse complete with a precious little baby Voldusk. Plus, all pre-orders over $50 will receive an exclusive Stellar Like a Void promo. Now that Artemis has had her time to shine, it's time to check in with another divine baddie. I speak, of course, about the Earth Goddess, Demeter. Jess, tell us what you've been cooking up in the Earth Pantheon for this week.
So, it is week 3 of the Elestriad, or top 8, and this week we are against Trishula. So, I'm decided, I'm against Solar. I decided to play Vespertuga, Voltuga, Eruption. I decided to play an Eruption build of Earth Nexus because Eruption just seemed really strong against a deck that pays quite low to the ground, especially with Apollo. Solar tends to pay quite low down, and Trishula is a big fan of Solar Nexus. So expecting a lot of Apollos, and Eruption is a very, very nice, especially game 1, when he can't play around it as well. It's a very nice counter to those heavy Apollo plays. So that's why I'm maining the Voltuga Vespertuga package. Then for my rest of my Earth Elestrals, I'm playing 3 Equalinks, 3 Viscerus, and 2 Mudlet. Equalink's really strong because of Apollo in this matchup. Viscerus is especially strong because if it destroys their only Elestral, and then summons from deck, it means that if they only summon Elestral and attack next turn, we have a free material on field to ascend into Vespertuga and then start burning and then gaining resources off of Eruption. Mudlet at 2, Mudlet's really strong against Luna, but especially since I have a lot of other good normal casts, such as Voltuga, not as important. Then for the rest of my Elestrals, I'm playing 1 Lavalith. It's really good against Apollo, and I'm already playing a bunch of Fire Spirits. 3 copies of Astrabbit, and 2 copies of Electric. Again, less Electric, purely because I'm already playing a really good normal cast in Voltuga. Then onto my runes. I am playing 2 copies of Demeter, and 1 copy of Falloy Forest as my Nexus banks, to allow me to Equalinks. And then for the rest of my Invoker runes, I'm playing 3 Ambrosia, 1 Laurels, and 1 Earthquake. 3 Ambrosia in this case is really important. Because I'm predominantly playing an Earth deck, I'm only playing 6 copies of Vipero, the Fire Spirit. So if I'm trying to resolve triple Eruption and Vespertuga, I require Ambrosia to be able to resolve all 3 of those eruptions. Then, for the rest of my deck, my counter runes, I am playing 3 copies of Gorgon's Gaze, 3 copies of Shield of Achilles, 2 copies of Poison-Tipped Arrow, and 2 copies of Altar of Stars. I'm not playing Tsunami because I find that the Solar matchup quite commonly will either have Galaxia because they can search it with Exaltus, or they will misenchant their Loom Ruse to play around Tsunami, in which case I would much rather have Shield just to return them out to... I'd much rather have Shield to return their Elestral to hand, in which case I can then, next turn, put my Vespertuga down. So that is it for my main deck. And then onto my Spirit deck, I am playing 11 Earth Spirits, 6 Fire Spirits, 2 Thunder Spirits, and 1 Water Spirit. I'm not playing any copies of Tsunami. I'm purely playing the Water Spirit to play around opposing Tsunamis. And then yes, 6 Fire Spirits is quite low, but we can recycle them and we can manage our spirits quite well with this deck. So I'm not too worried about not having enough Fire Spirits. For the side deck, I think the most important part, I'm playing 2 copies of Thunderstorm, 2 copies of Arcalith, 1 copy of Electric, and then 4 Zapdos. What this allows me to do is, these are parts of the core that I'm going to side in game 2. So after I've shown my Eruptions and my Vespertugas, then when my opponent has to play a little bit safer around them, I'm going to be siding in, or siding out all of my Eruptions, my Boltugas, my Vespertugas, and siding back in some Thunder Spirits, and just playing pretty standard Earth Nexus. Hence I'm playing 2 more Mutation, a Flooy, and some Cryoblast inside as extra removal. The one cool card to note here is Thunderstorm, which the plan with Thunderstorm is if Equilynx resolves against an Apollo, you win the game. So Thunderstorm also hits the sit Apollo for 2. And then when they have 1 set card plus Apollo, being able to Thunderstorm to get rid of a Gorgon's Gaze to allow the Equilynx to resolve on the Apollo and hit directly is a lot of advantage. So I think the Thunderstorm, especially with how it synergizes with Arcalith, really good call. Anyway, we've also got Cryoblasts to hit against potential Eddies, potential Lumaroos, but that's about it for my deck. We will get into the match.
Jess has been bringing the heat every single week, and today is no exception. She has shown just how versatile Earth can be by starting out with Vespertuga and Eruption Burn, only to completely pivot to Arcalith and Thunderstorm with the side deck. And now I think it's time to check in with the golden boy of Solar himself. Take it away, Trishula.
Yo, what is up, guys? We are back. We've made it to the top 8 of Elestriad with our Solar deck. Hopefully, we'll be able to make it to the top 4, but I'm very afraid because we are playing against another very, very good player, another Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds competitor, actually. So this is a kind of a scary matchup. Two Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds competitors duking it out in not Yu-Gi-Oh! So Jess is very good. She's been on a complete tear, and she's also playing a really good deck. So hopefully our Solar deck will be able to keep up. And I've tried to tech out the deck a little bit as best as I can, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So let's start. We played 3 Astrabbit, obviously. And then we're main decking 3 Eddy. Eddy is pretty solid into Earth, just being able to keep up the aggro, keep up board presence. And I tried to find my bluest Eddies for you guys. 3 Lumaroo. You guys know and love them by now. 2 Dratara, 2 Corvishine, 2 Exaltus, Plucky Lustragon. All of our Stellars are here joining us in our match against Earth. Now, we've talked about this in all the previous profiles. No need to go over it again. But now for the interesting bit, we play 1 Curibus. So this might come as a surprise, but we are trying to ascend our Edward. I think that there's a few different ways that Jess can go about playing against me. I think Boltuga Burn will probably be the most likely. Wasp Ivy is also another route that she could take. Curibus is strong enough to beat over both of those cards, as well as being able to pop them and heal me for 2. It also helps me dodge, stuff like PTAs, because why would I be playing Curibus in Solar? Like, why would I do that? So maybe we'll be able to play like a Edward into like a Astrabbit or something, get PTA'd, and then just ascend into Curibus and be like, gotcha, popped a back row. So we're playing the Curibus for that. 3 Apollo, it's Solar, we're playing Solar. And then for the Curibus, we're playing 3 Rock and a Hard Place, as well as our Earthquake and Laurels. So the theory here is that removal is very good into the Earth decks. And unfortunately, Cryoblast is not a particularly good removal rune, but we're kind of limited on our options for removal, considering that Earthquake and Laurels are now both limited. So with that in mind, we're playing 3 Rock and a Hard Place just as our removals. It doesn't really matter if we draw them with the Edward or not. We have the Curibus to ascend into if we need to, but not really the main point. They're just kind of there, and if it comes up, it comes up. For rounding out the Invoke runes, we got the 3 Ambrosia, obviously. Then for Arcana runes, it's pretty standard. 3 Tsunami, 3 Poison Tip Arrow, 3 Gaze, 2 Alter. Still no shield. Don't want to lose a shield to an Echo Lynx, so pretty straightforward. Moving on to our Spirit deck. Let's go over this. It's going to be the same 11 Luminape as always, so nothing to talk about there. As for our Rainbow runes that have changed up, we're down to 2 Zaptor this time, 4 Water, 2 Earthquake, and an Owloon. So we're playing a little bit more Water and the Owloon to accommodate our Rock and a Hard Place, as well as Eddie Kuribus line. And then we have obviously our Earth here for the Earthquakes and our Zaptors for Rabbits as well. Moving on to the side deck, we played 2 Boombat. This is just here to help out big Ascensions if she is running them. 2 Calfmel for the heal, 1 Lustragon, and still the ugly one, unfortunately. 2 Sorlet, 2 Temple. These are... So I'm running the Sorlets and Temples just so that we can side into a Beat Stick package if we need to. So if we see field spells coming down, she's playing kind of more of a standard Earth, we can use the field spells to play field spell wars, and then we have the Sorlets to become 6s under our field spell. And then for some spice, we're playing 2 Thunderstorm. So I was kind of thinking about this a lot, and I don't know if I want the Rock and a Hard Places in when I go first necessarily, because what I think is kind of common to have happen is I'll go first, I'll play a dude, Jess will respond by playing something like a Demeter to buff up one of her dudes, and then swing over my dude, and then, you know, we're trading. So I think for when I go first, I want to have these Thunderstorms just so I can try and blow up the Demeters or something and try and get some value there, keep her off of Demeter, because that's kind of how I lose. And then for more spice, I played 2 Rise from the Ashes. So as you saw, we were playing the Calfmels and the Lustragon. So these kind of create a little package that we can go into for kind of like a Resurrector, kind of Lustragon Quick Ascension engine, because I feel like in the Earth matchup we fall behind pretty quickly if we do fall behind, so having a way to just get back on the board and get out a big dude really fast, and effectively make it free if we bring back a Calfmel is pretty nice, so that's why those are there. And for the last 2 cards, we played 2 Thunder Spirits just because we are playing those Thunderstorms and Boombats, so if I'm taking out the Rock and a Hard Place engine, I can just swap the Spirits out for the Zaptors. So that's all for the deck profile. Good luck to Jess. Hopefully we can make it to the top 4. If not, this has been a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys maybe in the next Elestriad.
Apollo is not with me because I could not have foretold this Solar Kuribus collab. Removal is the name of the game when playing into Earth, and Rock in a Hard Place is a really unique and fun inclusion. Selfishly, I would love to see Rise from the Ashes rise from the side deck and put in some work. Both of these casters are incredible in their own rights, and I cannot wait any longer to see this clash. So let's get into it. And SunseedJess is going to be starting us off today. Neither caster has to mulligan. A nice, good, clean start to the game. Jess starting out with an Astrabbit. Going to be getting a Zaptor from the Spirit deck, enchanting 2. Look at the top 3 from the deck, choose 1. She is going to set 1 and pass over to Trishula. And let's see what he wants to answer with. An Eddie. So he does not want to see that Astrabbit sit around for any length of time. Casting out Eddie with a Leviathan enchanted. Gets to move Astrabbit to attack position and swing right over, and just lets the rabbit go down. And no sets from Trishula, which is very interesting. And Jess already starting us out with big, scary Viscerus. And as we know from her deck profile, one of the things she would like to do is possibly use Viscerus, this momentum, to be able to ascend, possibly into Vesvatuga. And we see a Resting on Your Laurels coming out. And Trish opts to go for the attack position, Viscerus, leaving the defense position on the board. And here comes Apollo. Apollo is such a strong divine, being able to foretell the top 3 cards, adding an Elestral to hand, and basically setting up your next few turns is so powerful. And in his last week's match against Kaycreigh, we were able to see just how strong and scary that can be. And we've got Lumaru coming out, swinging or attempting to swing over the Viserys, and Jess does not want to let it go down. Here comes the Gorgons. Gonna stop that attack. So we've got one Viserys on board, still happy and healthy, and a Lumaru over on the other side. Viserys currently actually tied with Lumaru for attack right now. Oh, and here comes that Ascension! Yes! Oh, I love to see it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I wanted to see this Vespa-Tuga come out, and out he has come. Here he is, big 5'8" boy, leaving him in defense. Trish is not happy to see that. Jess's plan to use this and that momentum to be able to ascend into Vespa-Tuga playing off perfectly, which is so cool to see. And here comes the eruption. The burn is already starting. Trish is feeling it. We are still at only 11 versus 10 in terms of spirit count, so the differential not too bad, but Jess is in a pretty good position right here. And here comes a second eruption. Already down to 7 spirits over on Trishula's side. Oh man, and Jess being able to simply heal back up with that Vespa-Tuga ability. That is incredible. That is so cool to see that Vespa-Tuga come out. And we've passed back over to Trishula, who brings out an Edward, and he is going to opt to just crash with Lumaru and go ahead and take that extra spirit of damage. Lumaru goes down, Eddie swings in for 1, but Jess is currently sitting at 11 spirits versus Trishula's 5, or 10, excuse me. So cool to see this play out the way that Jess intended. We've got 1 set over on Jess's side of the field, 2 over on Trishula's. And Jess seems to not have any guys in hand. Oh, we saw an expend. That's what that was. I'm learning right here with you, folks. And Trishula bringing out a Dratora, going to be able to heal back some of that burn damage. And looking at an empty field for the most part, except for 1 back row set, this is a pretty good position to be in. Starting out with the Eddie attack, leaving the Dratora for next. Jess is going to take 3 spirits of damage, and Trishula, considering how big of a play that was from Jess and how well that played out for her, the fact that Trish has tied it back up really speaks to how good of a player he really is, and Jess as well. We see Demeter come out. Gorgeous, gorgeous Demeter. I'm a little biased here. And Mudlet, whose ability allows him to switch the position of an Elestral, much like Eddie. His ability being used against him to move him to defense. Goes ahead, attempts to swing over, and passing back over to Trishula. We have a Corvashine coming out, that Foretell ability. And we've got 2 cards with that Rock in a Hard Place, and was that a second Lumaru? Okay, we know Rock in a Hard Place here, especially with the Demeter set, could be very good for Trish. And we have 3 different guys loaded up over on Trish's side. Going to be using Apollo to foretell those 3, moving Eddie back to attack, and gonna attempt to swing over that Mudlet. Before we do that, we're setting 2. Oh wait, I was getting ahead of myself. Here comes Rock in a Hard Place. Okay. Was that a double? Here he comes. Okay. See, I was wondering if this is what we were about to see. This is so cool. Not only did we get to see an Ascension over on Jess's side this game, but also on Trishula's side, Curvis coming out. He is Misenchanted, 1 dark, 1 water, and oh man, Jess opting to use Altar of the Stars, paying off of the Demeter, nexusing from the Demeter over onto Mudlet, and going to be turning, I imagine, that Curibus into defense position. Yep. So preventing for now that big scary attack coming in. And neither Datura or Corvishine are able to swing over currently. So Mudlet is safe for now. And we see Jess draw, bring out an Equilinx. And because Mudlet has that extra spirit from the Demeter, from the altar, we are going to be able to see Equilinx Nexus come through immediately. Equilinx is hit with a poison-tipped arrow. And we see a tsunami come out. Trish is going to chain that, it seems, using spirit off of the Curibus, which he knows that's going down this turn anyways. Going to go ahead and use those spirits as opposed to letting them simply go. And we see, just nexusing off of the Equilinx. Oh my gosh. Moving that Mudlet back to attack and then swinging right over. That was an incredible play, preserving those resources. Equilinx was going down anyways because of that PTA, and being able to use that ability to not lose that spirit was absolutely incredible. That was an amazing final turn in an amazing game from both casters. The spirit management, the way that Trishula was able to come back even though Jess came out swinging at the beginning. This was an incredible back and forth, very exciting, well-matched clash. And while Jess may have taken game one, I am very excited to get into game two. Curious to see if Jess is going to pivot to that Thunder strat that she discussed in the deck profile. Interested to see what Trish decides to do, what to change up. Maybe that Rise from the Ashes coming through. I can only hope. And yeah, let's get into game two. Starting us out in game two, Trishula is going to be going first. And we see an expend to draw. Really, he's kind of going third, huh? Sets one and passes over to Jess. And we see her start out with an Elechick. Gonna try and get that Demeter. Trish says absolutely not, and I can't blame him because Earth, once it gets Demeter out on field, is a terrifying, terrifying thing. So after the gaze, being unable to attack, simply sets one and passes back over to Trishula, who in a moment of deja vu sends out Eddie. Gonna move that Elechick into defense, setting one on his side and swinging right over the Elechick. Jess is just gonna let that chick go down. Wonder what that set card is there, or if she's just saving it for something special. And we see the Thunderstorm come out! Yes! Okay, so she has pivoted to the Thunder strat, which means we might see an Arcalith come out at some point. If Trishula ever has two attack position Elestrals on his field, then we might see an Arcalith. Just clearing the field so that Vis can swing in absolutely unchallenged. The second Viscerus coming out. Jess is so scary. Jess, you, the woman you are. Oh my gosh. And Trishula casting Apollo. Apollo is really... I didn't know about the foretell ability at first, I'm going to be honest. We see Apollo, Tsunami, and I believe that was a Lumaru Trish was able to add to his hand. But after seeing Trishula play Apollo and seeing how scary foretell can be, I think it's a great divine, and it's really cool and different to see. And we see a thunderstorm of Trish's own coming out, destroying that altar. He is happy to see it go, which, I mean, after the shenanigans just pulled with the altar last game, I cannot say I blame him. He casts out that Lumaru that he got from Apollo. This beautiful, fully blinged out deck that Trish is running is incredible. We see that Earthquake so that Lumaru is able to, with no issues, swing over Viscerus. Just lets him go down, and we are looking at an empty field. I really do wonder what that set card is. We see an expend to draw on Jess's side. Jess is sitting at 14 spirits, whereas Trishula is at 8. So she's probably still feeling pretty comfortable. And she said, actually, that Apollo, I need you to stop doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and thunderstorm that, and I'm going to cryoblast your Lumaru. So the expend to draw that I just did, that's fine. We both have empty fields. I am at 11 spirits. You are at 8. And go ahead, pass back over to you, Trishula, who sends out Exaltus. And nothing to Nexus off of, so we simply see him swing in to a shield. Okay, that has been a shield this entire time. Interesting. Jess does not want to see maybe that Nexus happening. Maybe she just doesn't want to take that spirit damage or have to swing over the Exaltus next turn. Who knows? We see another expend to draw from Jess and a pass back over to Trishula, who has another Apollo. We saw that thunderstorm come out, but as we know from the first Apollo, Trish had a second. Dratura comes out, is able to Nexus, and Trish is going to start healing, keeping him in this game, bringing him back up to 6, and swinging directly for 2 with no back row. Jess just takes 2, and now this game is tied back up 6-6 spirits. And we see a guy come out, and it is a misenchanted, a water enchanted Mostation, which is really cool. As we know, she ran that 1 water to prevent tsunami, and that doesn't matter because Trishula, in a really cool defensive play, tsunamis to move his own Dratora to defense to save it from getting run over by the Mostation, who, because he's misenchanted, is only at 4 attack instead of 6. That is super cool. Dratora Nexusing to heal. We are back over to 7 and now to 6 with the Exaltus cast, and the Exaltus is going to Nexus and be able to finally do a search. Wasn't able to do it the first time we saw him hit the field. And here we go. Let's see. I don't know what he added. Oh, nothing, because the gays are on Jess's side today. The gaze happens after the Nexus. We see the disenchant from Apollo to foretell, ooh, a Boombat, Corvishine. He's going to grab the Corvishine. And we also have an Ambrosia. Okay, so this was an Ambrosia already in hand, it seems. And then we know another Ambrosia is on the way. So Trish is probably feeling pretty good in terms of where he's sitting with spirits. And he's going to choose to grab back 2 water and 1 solar. That's interesting. So maybe Curibus, rocking a hard place, maybe plotting deviously over on Trish's side. And over on Jess's side, we see a cute little Mudlet hit the field. Mudlet's ability allows him to change the position of any Elestral, moving Dratora to attack. Can't say I blame her. That Dratora has been a menace in terms of healing. She does some healing of her own with an Ambrosia, sets 1, and goes ahead and swings over both. And because that Mostation is misenchanted, it doesn't have to move to defense after each attack, which is really cool. Not only are you playing around the tsunami, but you also are able to keep Mostation in a safe position each turn. So that Corvishine coming out from Trish, allowing him to foretell and passing back over to Jess. Jess is going to cast out Viscerus, and that's the only Viscerus in her deck. We saw the other 2 go down. So this is just a big boy at this point. Gonna swing over the Corvishine and hit Trish directly for 2 with Mudlet and Mostation. I really love the Mostation misenchanted play, and I'm taking notes from watching this clash. There's so many times when watching Elestrals, especially when I've been able to commentate, oh, here comes Boombat. Speaking of, that Viscera is probably gonna go down. Yeah, we see a disenchant and choosing, yes, Viscerus. But there's so many times when I play this game where it's like, it's almost like a masterclass where it's like, when I play it, I feel like I'm not playing the same game, but I am taking notes and hopefully one day can utilize this. And we see Demeter come out from Jess's side, and she is gonna swing for 2 directly into Trishula. We have 2 set over on Jess's side, nothing on Trish's side. Another Corvishine coming out, allowing him to foretell. Here comes Alter and Lumaru. Wonder which one he's going to choose to get here. And that other Ambrosia that we saw off of the Apollo, I believe it was. Yep, there we go. Trishula has been able to do a lot of healing this game, which has really elongated his ability to stay in it, despite the fact that Jess has managed to keep Mostation on the field for a long time and Mudlet on the field for a long time at this point. A re-enchant of the Mudlet so that she is able to swing over Corvishine and I believe hit directly for 2. Yep, there we go. Jess is on 1 spirit. Trishula is on 2. Another incredibly close game. And here comes Lumaru, who can swing over both of them. But we see that one set over on Jess's side. I wonder if it's not a tsunami because she only has that 1 spirit. And we're going to pay for the shield off of the Mudlet. But because Mudlet had 2 spirits on it, able to stay on the field. And with nothing set on Trish's side, it seems that is game for SunseedJess. That was an incredible match. Oh my gosh, those were both so close, and I just felt so excited watching these 2 casters go back and forth, and especially watching them have fun and laugh and surprise each other with the plays that they were making. I felt like I was right in it with them, and huge GGs to Jess. She is going to be moving to the top 4 with EARTH, so be sure to tune in tomorrow for some more Elestriad goodness. Bye!